Ashley here with Heart Hook Home, and today we are learning how to add a foundation row to your border in crochet. No matter which crochet stitch I'm using for whatever swatch or whatever blanket I'm making, I always like to go through and go around my piece with single crochet first and then go back and add whatever decorative border I'm planning for the project. So how to figure out how to add how many stitches per row really just depends on what stitch you used for your afghan. So this one is a single crochet and this one is a double crochet, and I made it a little looser so we can see this here. So the single crochet that we have here, this is the end of my row, and you know, normally I would just go ahead and start working down this side. So how to figure out how many stitches to put in each side, really you just need to know how many rows you have total. So this one is 15 rows tall, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that tells me that this is single crochet and I have 15 rows, so I need to end up having 15 stitches across this side, right? Because each single crochet is 1 stitch tall. So we are going to start going around this border, and I'll make this as obvious as I can, and then we'll do a double crochet as well. Okay, so we need to have 15 single crochets down the edge of this piece. So in your corner, you're always going to want to put extra stitches so that it doesn't pull and curl in on itself. So we're going to go ahead and put another single crochet into that same exact spot that I already was. Okay, so there's that. Now we're going to crochet down this side. So we have 15 rows, so I need to have 15 stitches. So we're going to put that one there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that leaves us with 15 single crochets going down the edge of this piece. So as long as you remain consistent in where you place those every time, so we put the first one there, we'll go in this one and make a single crochet. And then we're going to go into the next one, which would be this one right here, and make a single crochet. Now we're going to go in the next one, which would be right here, and make a single crochet. And then we go into the next one, which would be right here, and make a single crochet. So as long as we figure out exactly where we're placing them each time and remain consistent in the placement of those, it will make our piece turn out nice and pretty. So we're going to go all the way down to the end here, and in the corner, which is where I started this piece, that would be the chain from when I very first started. You could go into the foundation stitch, which is what I prefer to do, or you could go in between those stitches. I personally like to go into this one right here, which is the first stitch of that foundation, and I like to go twice because the first time is for the directional going this way, and then the next one will start the row going the directional the other direction. So we'll do 2 in that last one, and then we will continue going into each one of these as we go across. This one here, this one here, and like I said, you know, you could, if you wanted to, go into the stitch in between those two. I just find it looks a little cleaner if I go into the actual back post of that foundation row, if that makes sense. So here we are after turning that corner, and we've got our evenly singled crochets all the way around. And now, since we did that in the same color, it's a little hard to see, but when we go back through, like if we were to put a pink border or a white border on, when we go back and go into the single crochets that we just created, you won't even be able to tell where the blanket ends and where the border starts. It just makes it very clean and nice foundation row for that border. So when we work on double crochet, a double crochet is 2 stitches tall, or the height of 2 stitches. So single is only 1 and double is 2. And you can kind of see where these rows start. So here's a row, here's a row, here's a row, here's a row. And as long as you remain consistent on where you are placing those stitches, it'll turn out very nice. So when I'm doing a double, you're going to have 2 stitches within each row. So we put the first one there and the second one there. So we're going to put, I'm going to chain 1 because this is the end, and now I'm working on my border. So I'm going to put 2 in that stitch to start, or 1 there, and then when I come back I'll do the second. So this is the very first of this side. Now when I'm going into the second the second stitch of that double crochet to do the border, I want to make sure that I get 2 pieces of yarn. If I just got that first piece of yarn, it would be kind of flimsy and a little loosey-goosey. So you want to make sure that you're getting 2 sides of yarn, right? And you're not going through the entire stitch, you're only going through part of the stitch. And for me, that helps to keep it a little bit cleaner. So there's the 1 and there's the 2, right? And so next, on the next row, in this area, we're going to put 1, 2. So we go 1, and make sure you grab both sides of this next. And you're not grabbing the entire stitch so that you're not making this like super holy right here. You're just going through the side of it. And to me, it makes a really big difference on my crochet pieces if I'm able to pull this now. And if you do both sides, it makes it a lot cleaner. And remember, since this is a double crochet, we're doing 2 single crochets per row. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and just try to remain consistent. If you're putting it in this part of this stitch every time, make sure you put it in that part of that stitch, and that part of that stitch, and that part of that stitch as you work your way across. Now, the last thing that I wanted to talk about in this video is your corner to corner. Because adding a single crochet border to corner is a little more difficult because we have some that go this direction and some that go this direction, and then this direction, and then this direction. So it's hard to say, okay, well, this is a double crochet, so I'm going to go 2 here. And then this one has 3. So it's very difficult to decide. You can go that way and do the single crochet into each side of that stitch, but I found that this method that I'm about to show you works even better for me. So what I do is I kind of crochet a little bit tighter, but I actually go in between each block. Okay, so then the next block is in between this one, right? And then here, and then here. So I like to chain 2 and then go in between the next block and kind of do a little tighter single crochet so that it doesn't spike a whole lot, but like do a little bit tighter. Chain 2 and go in between the next block here. A little bit tighter, chain 2, a little bit tighter in between the next 2 blocks. Okay, chain 2, go in between the next 2 blocks, a little tighter, chain 2, go in between the next. So every time you're just going in between those blocks. And now when we get to the end, we are still going to want to do extra stitches because we don't want that to curl up on us. So we're going to do, when we get to the end, we're going to just go in that end corner right there. And I just do 2 single crochets. You could do 3 if you wanted to, it's really just personal preference. But then we're going to turn our work so that we can go down this direction. And honestly, I like the chain 2 and go in between method just because, like when you're trying to go in this one, that's all fine and dandy. But if you're doing a decrease, going around a decrease, then you've got to go into that slip stitch and you've got to go into that slip stitch. And it's really hard to decide where that hook should be placed for that border row. But yeah, just starting with the single crochet really helps to change. See how there's my corner? But it really, going through that single crochet or going around with a single crochet border first just really helps to kind of clean things up a little bit, gives you a foundation of something that you can go back with and see, you know, a pretty little edge as you're going. So here's how it ends up looking. Okay, so then when I go back with pink or blue or whatever I'm going back with, I'll just go into these stitches instead of going into the actual corner to corner. I hope that helps. Make sure that you're doing at least 2 stitches in each corner. You can do 3 if you like. Now when you go back through to add another one in each corner, you're still going to put extra stitches every row you do. So if you do 10 rows of single crochet, you're going to put extra stitches in every single corner, every single row. So I hope that helps you with adding your borders to crochet. Of course, if you have any questions, you can always shoot me an email and I will be happy to help. Thanks.